Welcome to Ms. Shortcut, where history, economy, and global development meet in fast forward. Today, we're exploring a country known for flamenco, fiestas, and football, but also for empires, economic upheaval, and a resilient spirit. This is Spain, a nation that once ruled half the world, collapsed into civil war, and rose again as a modern democracy in the European Union. Let's take the shortcut through Spain's rich and complex journey. Ancient Spain. Long before Spain was Spain, the Iberian Peninsula was a crossroads of ancient civilizations. The Phoenicians, Greeks, and Carthaginians all left their mark. But it was Rome that truly reshaped the land, turning Hispania into one of its richest provinces. Roman roads, aqueducts, and Latin itself formed the backbone of Spanish society. After Rome fell, the Visigoths, a Germanic tribe, established a kingdom in Iberia, until a new force arrived from the south. Al-Andalus and Islamic Golden Age. In 711, Muslim Moors from North Africa invaded and within a few years controlled most of the peninsula. What followed was Al-Andalus, a Muslim-ruled territory that became a beacon of learning, science, architecture, and coexistence. Cities like Córdoba flourished with libraries, universities, and stunning architecture like the Great Mosque. Though marked by cultural exchange, this era also planted the seeds of religious and political tension that would erupt in centuries to come. The Reconquista. For nearly 800 years, Christian kingdoms in the north waged the Reconquista, a gradual retaking of territory. It culminated in 1492 when the Catholic monarchs, Isabella I of Castile and Ferdinand II of Aragon, captured Granada, the last Muslim stronghold. That same year, they also sponsored Christopher Columbus, launching Spain's global empire and changing world history forever. Golden Age of Empire. The 16th and 17th centuries were Spain's siglo de oro, or golden century. Fueled by silver and gold from the Americas, Spain built a vast empire stretching across Latin America, the Caribbean, parts of Europe, Africa, and Asia. This was the era of Habsburg monarchs, Spanish galleons, and literary giants like Cervantes, author of Don Quixote. But wealth masked deep problems, including inflation, constant warfare, and economic mismanagement. Decline and Bourbon reforms. As the empire grew, so did its costs. Military defeats, including the loss of the Spanish Armada to England in 1588, signaled decline. In the 18th century, the Bourbon dynasty, imported from France, tried to modernize the economy and state bureaucracy with a series of reforms. Despite efforts, Spain couldn't keep pace with rising powers like Britain and France. The Napoleonic invasion in 1808 shattered the old order and sparked wars of independence in Latin America. Loss of empire and internal turmoil. By the late 19th century, Spain's empire was collapsing. The Spanish-American War in 1898 saw the loss of Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines, its last major colonies. At home, the 20th century brought turmoil, dictatorship under Primo de Rivera, a short-lived republic, and then civil war. Spanish Civil War. The Spanish Civil War, 1936 to 1939, was a brutal conflict between left-wing Republicans and right-wing nationalists, led by General Francisco Franco. It became a proxy war, with Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy supporting Franco, and the Soviet Union backing the Republicans. Franco won, and ruled Spain as a military dictator for nearly 40 years. Under Franco, Spain was isolated, repressive, and economically stagnant, yet his regime kept the country out of World War II. Post-Franco transition. Franco died in 1975, and Spain began a remarkable transition to democracy. King Juan Carlos I, surprisingly progressive, oversaw a peaceful shift to constitutional monarchy and parliamentary democracy. The 1978 Constitution guaranteed civil liberties, regional autonomy, and a market economy. Spain opened to the world again, joining NATO in 1982 and the European Economic Community, now the EU, in 1986. Modern economic growth. From the 1980s to the early 2000s, Spain experienced an economic miracle. Fueled by EU funds, tourism, construction, and a modernizing economy, Spain became one of Europe's top performers. Cities like Madrid, Barcelona, and Valencia became hubs of innovation and culture. High-speed trains, highways, and renewable energy projects reshaped infrastructure. Spain became a global leader in wind and solar power. The 2008 financial crisis. But the boom was built partly on a real estate bubble. When the 2008 global financial crisis hit, Spain was one of the hardest-hit European countries. Unemployment soared, especially among youth, reaching over 50% in some years. The banking system nearly collapsed, requiring EU support. Austerity, public protests, and political fragmentation followed, shaking the two-party system and giving rise to new political movements like Podemos and Ciudadanos. Recent recovery and challenges. In the 2010s and early 2020s, Spain slowly recovered. GDP growth resumed, tourism rebounded, and startups flourished in tech and green energy. But challenges remain. A stubbornly high unemployment rate. Political tension, especially around Catalonia's independence push. An aging population and low birth rate. Pressure on public services. Spain also faced a heavy toll from COVID-19, both economically and socially, but it emerged with renewed focus on digitalization and sustainability. Spain today. Modern Spain is a dynamic democracy with a mixed economy, the fourth largest in the Eurozone. It boasts world-class infrastructure, a robust welfare system, and a thriving tourism sector, welcoming over 80 million visitors annually. It's also a cultural superpower, from Picasso and Gaudí to Almodovar, Rosalia, and global football icons like Messi, when he played for Barcelona, and Sergio Ramos. Spain balances tradition and modernity. Proud of its regional identities while building a collective future in Europe. Fun facts and soft power. Spain has 17 autonomous communities, each with its own flavor of culture, cuisine, and even language. It's the world's largest producer of olive oil and one of the top wine exporters. The Camino de Santiago attracts thousands of pilgrims and tourists every year. Spain's universities, such as IE Business School and Universidad de Navarra, are gaining global recognition. And let's not forget La Liga, the Champions League titles, and El Clásico, where football is practically a religion. Spain's story is one of resilience, reinvention, and rich diversity. From ancient Hispania to Islamic Al-Andalus, from colonial empire to democratic EU member, it has endured civil war, dictatorship, and economic crisis, only to emerge stronger and more confident in its role on the world stage. Spain teaches us that a country's identity is not fixed, it evolves, learns, and adapts with every generation. Gracias for joining us on this shortcut through Spain. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share Ms.Shortcut for more high-speed journeys through history and economy. From the mighty Roman Empire to Renaissance brilliance, from Mussolini's regime to modern-day Eurozone challenges, Italy's story is one of glory, grit, and great transformation. Stay tuned as we unpack 2,500 years of history, art, politics, and economy, in one shortcut. Ms.Shortcut, your shortcut to the smartest country stories.